Well, hello, everyone. This is Amber Towngian, your terrific Tuesday $1 Million Messenger calling you from the greater Phoenix area. And today, this article caught me off guard. So hopefully there will be a link to this and you can read the whole thing in entirety. But I'm going to touch on the bullet points. This is the title of this habit that caught me. That I was like, that's kind of a different approach today. So 10 daily habits that often waste 90% of our time and our energy in life. Oh, isn't that just a tongue twister, but just like, oh, she just said that. Because so many of us in the new year had committed and maybe already quit about the thought of not wasting time. So I'm just going to read the top 10 things. There's a lot more to this article, but I thought this is just way too good. And so it says, and one day you wake up and your business has failed. It was all the little things you did or didn't do along the way, your daily habits, not just one big catastrophic event. All right, wake up call, 10 things. Number one of the bad habits is we change nothing and expect different results. There's a saying in it that the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and expect results. Take this to heart. If you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. Oftentimes, the only difference between a successful person and a person who makes a little progress is not one's superior abilities, but the courage that one has to bet on their ideas, to take calculated risks, to take a steady step forward. Number two, they keep waiting for the right time. Even when we have productive intentions, too many of us waste so much of our time waiting for the ideal paths to appear, but they never do, of course, because we forget that the paths are made by walking, not waiting. Oh, so good. The paths we make that are made, they're made by walking, not waiting. So stop waiting today. Think of today as the beginning, the conception of a new life. The next 9 months are all yours. Let's just say 6. You could do with them as you please. Make them count, because a new person is born in 9 months. The only question is, who do you want that person to be? Now is the time to decide. And no, you shouldn't feel more confident before you take the next step. Taking the next step is what builds your confidence and fuels your inner and outer growth. Number 2, believe good things come fast and easy. A goal is a point of achievement that requires effort and sacrifice. There are no esteemed goals worth participating in that don't require some level of effort or sacrifice. Number 4, they refuse to accept necessary risks. Living is about learning as you go. Living is a risky business. Every decision, every interaction, every step, every time you get out of bed in the morning, you take a small risk. To truly live is to know you're getting up, taking a risk, and trust yourself to take it again. Number 5, they make the rejection of yesterday the focal point of today. Be okay with walking away when the time comes. Rejection teaches us how to reject what's not for our well-being. Number 6, they refuse to take responsibility. You aren't responsible for everything that happened to you, but you need to be responsible for undoing the thinking and the behavioral patterns these outcomes created within you. I'm going to say that one again. You aren't responsible for everything that happened to you, but you need to be responsible for undoing the thinking and behavioral patterns these outcomes created within you. Blaming the past for a limiting mindset today doesn't fix it. Change your response to what you remember and step forward again with grace. Number 7, close your mind. They close their mind to new ideas and perspectives. Remember that success in life does not depend on always being right. To make real progress, you must let go of the assumption that you already have all the answers. Even as a grown, wise person of age, you must remind yourself that an understanding is never absolutely final. What's currently right could easily be wrong later. Thus, the most destructive illusion is a settled point of view. Ooh, that was good. Number 8, they let a few negative people continuously distract them. Your mind is your private sanctuary. Do not allow the negative beliefs of others to occupy it. Your skin is your barrier. Do not allow others to get under it. Take good care of your personal boundaries and what you allow yourself to absorb from others. Of course, there will be inevitably be a few people in your life who will be critical of you regardless of what you do or how well you do it. If you say you want to be a dancer, they will discredit your taste in music. If you say you want to build a new business, they will give you a dozen reasons why it might not work. They somehow assume you don't have what it takes, but they are all dead wrong. Let that sink in. It's a lot easier to be a negative person than a positive person, a lot easier to be a critical than a correct. When you're embarked on a new venture, instead of listening to a few critics that will be and try to distract you, spend time talking to one of the hundreds of people in the world who are willing to support your efforts and acknowledge your potential respectfully. And go ahead and leave us a comment about how it makes a difference in your life. That you could go back and comment on. Number 9. They hold tight to something that's not real. Remind yourself right now that not everything is meant to be. Sometimes you have to track the data, review the data, and seriously sit down with yourself and come up to grips with the fact that maybe you were wrong about something all along. It was just an illusion that never really was what you thought it was. It's one of the most difficult realizations to accept, to realize that you feel a sense of loss even though you never really had what you thought you had in the first place. The key is knowing this, learning from it, letting go, and taking the next step forward. And I'll put a plug in there. I kind of feel like maybe that is where some of us have been over the last 4 years, 5 years, and that we just thought that something was something and everything changed. And maybe it wasn't exactly what we thought it was all along. And coming to grips with that would be freeing to us and allow us to walk forward in grace. So number 10, they maintain rigid expectations every step of the way. Simple things become complicated when you expect too much. Rigid expectations truly are a root cause of a heartache. Don't let them get the best of you. Every difficult life situation can be an excuse for hopelessness and the opportunity for personal growth. Depending on what you choose to do with it, you start with choosing to let go of expectations that aren't serving you. Let's say that again. Start by choosing to let go of expectations that are not serving you. A mistake doesn't hurt, expectations do. Rejection doesn't hurt, expectations do. And so it goes. Remember, the mind is your battleground. It's the place where the fiercest conflicts reside. If it's where half the things you feared would happen, never actually happen. It's where your expectations get the best of you and you fall victim to your own train of thought time and time again. So don't lower your standards, but do remember that removing your rigid expectations in life is the best way to avoid being disappointed by everyone and everything you encounter. Truth be told, one of the most important moments of your life is the moment you finally find the courage to let go of what can't be changed. Because when you are no longer able to change a situation, you are challenged to change yourself, to grow beyond the unchangeable. And that is what it happens. Change is everything. So there is more to this article. You can feel free to go find it. It's at markandangel.com. 2025, 10 habits that wreck thousands of lives one day at a time. So either way, hopefully this was a blessing for you today. It really challenged me in a couple areas, and I hope it did you as well. So either way, this is Amber Town Guillen, your terrific Tuesday $1 Million Messenger signing off. Have an amazing Tuesday.